It is March 20th. It is day 59 of the Trump presidency. And I did not keep my corporate interview outfit on. I was too tired, man. I had to change. But the interview went as well as it possibly could have. In the last 5 minutes of it, we were just talking about a music venue we both liked. So I'm feeling pretty good. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have a final answer. And he said that the recruiter will get back with me very soon. So fingers crossed, kids. All right, let's get into it. So Trump has begun the process of eliminating the Department of Education, as I'm sure you have heard. Take some heart in knowing that Congress has to actually allow this to happen in order for him to actually truly eliminate the entire Department of Education. Congress has to pass some changes. The Department of Education was created by Congress in hold on. I'm going to clean this off really quick. I wouldn't normally do this on camera. It looks kind of greasy. Sorry. My greasy ass paws, you know what I mean? Anyways, Congress created the Department of Education in 1972 or something. In any case, a president can't just do this shit. You know what I mean? But he can, and they are firing a bunch of people, right? They already cut half of the staff for the Department of Education. And so it seems like often their plan is just to cripple these institutions. Sorry, there's a knot. I'm a disaster tonight. There's a knot in my cat's fur that I just really had to try to get it out. It's driving me crazy. So I and again, he's probably going to get legal pushback for this, right? So basically most of the things he's done, he's been told no by the court systems, or that you can't just do that, et cetera. And they're just seeing what they can push through quickly enough to actually dismantle pieces of it or cripple it or cause chaos, right? They've caused an incredible amount of chaos. And as I've said before, I am impressed with the level of chaos they've been able to cause in 59 days. Impressed isn't exactly the right word, but I don't know, something. It's something. That's right. The main roles that the Department of Education plays, really, it's distributing financial payments basically to colleges and universities, different grants and funds and stuff, and also to manage student loans. Okay. So if they have either no staff or very little staff, then those tasks are going to be reassigned to some other organization. The Department of Education also helps homeless kids with education, and so there's a lot of things that it does. And this is not making society better by any stretch of the imagination. I heard Trump's same old line that he's been using for everything of we're going to send this all back to the states where it belongs, and this is a very popular decision. This is going to work. I can't, bro. And again, it's at a time when, frankly, America is falling behind in an incredible number of ways. And it's not good. It's not good for our country at all to have less education, less access to education, less continuity in our education. Also, obviously, as you know, they are very specifically targeting and punishing schools that they feel are teaching certain DEI rhetoric, right? Imagine teaching about different cultures and how we're all valuable. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir, right? So it is what it is. They're going to try this as they've tried with every other organization that they're attempting to destroy. And, I'm curious to see as this starts to affect people. I guess there's already huge protests outside in DC right now teachers. I think a bunch of teachers from Denver either like walked out or something. I mean, they're really not airing this stuff on the news. I'm seeing these videos on TikTok, which is another reason why they want to get rid of TikTok. The mainstream media is too afraid now to talk about things that are happening that are anti-Trump because of, he has essentially vowed to destroy anyone who speaks out against him, right? And so like they don't want to pull that heat onto themselves. And so again, like TikTok is extremely valuable place that we hear about things that are happening that are being suppressed by the mainstream media. So it is going to be tough for me not to have that anymore. After April, it's either going to get taken away or it's going to get scrubbed real hard because the people who own Oracle, I think it might be Peter Thiel. It's like Elon's boys. It's not going to be good. Anyways, so of the people that have been deported, in particular, the people that they just sent on the immigrants they just deported on planes to El Salvador, right? The Trump administration has admitted that most of those people had no prior criminal record. And they are refusing to release the names of the people they deported, and they're refusing to disclose their location. It's some evil shit, man. And a lot of them just had like random tattoos. Like I heard something about like a tattoo of a rose. It's crazy what they're doing to people from all kinds of other countries. Like there was a French, was he a doctor? Who was coming back into the States, and they confiscated his phone and found that he had texts on his phone that were critical of Trump. And I think they either locked him up for a second or just like said he couldn't come back into the country. And they're calling him a terrorist because he was criticizing Trump's policies. Well, if he is, then I don't know what I am. Because like, it's not good. Anyways, so Putin is demanding that the Western allies of Ukraine stop supporting Ukraine with military aid and military intel. And literally the EU is basically doing the exact opposite. They're like, yeah, we don't care what you want. Their strategy, and I think they're saying this out loud, is to try to ramp up everything for Ukraine and make Ukraine a more formidable opponent to Russia. The reason why is the same reason why Biden was giving a bunch of money to Ukraine, because then we don't have to directly fight Russia and they are defeated, right? We allow Ukraine to fight their own fight. We just give them stronger weapons and more tools to do it, right? And then we don't get dragged in. And I believe that's exactly what the EU is doing. They're trying to avoid World War III, bro. Because if Ukraine can just take Russia down and we don't all have to get dragged into this shit, that is in everyone's best interest, including Ukraine's. However, we don't really know what kind of a stance the quote-unquote United States, if we can still call it that, is going to take in this situation. Time will tell. Because when push comes to shove, is Trump going to be forced to like back his daddy? Probably. I would guess so. So it really sucks to be like trapped in the belly of the beast. And I know that we all feel that. And also, who knows? Because maybe Trump will pull us into some other wars that take precedence over Russia. I don't know. A lot of things could happen. I wake up every day and I remind myself, hey, a lot of things could happen. We really just don't know. I am starting to believe, however, that karma is at least kind of real, because what is happening to Elon Musk is honestly like, it's getting to cringe levels of karmic retribution. So the almost all the Cybertrucks out on the road, and they've only been out there for like a year, okay? They're all being recalled because there is an exterior steel panel that can just like fly off while you're driving and hit your windshield and hit other cars. So they're recalling them. And guess what? This is the 8th recall of this fucking car in a year. I remember a long time ago doing in one of the shows, God, how could it possibly be? It's only been 59 days, but it literally feels like 17 months. Talking about, I think, is it the Pinto? That was the car that used to like explode because of the gas tank or something. I don't know. There was some other like worst car of all time, and people are saying like this is actually surpassing that in terms of how dangerous it is, like the number of problems it's having. Yeah. Congratulations, Elon. You're number one. You're number one in something, you know what I mean? In the biggest spectacle of failure anyone's ever seen. Starting from the highest point, you will fall to the lowest, and that will be you're taking the number one spot for that. So Wall Street dipped back down again today, but it's very minuscule. It's like 0.3% or something. I think it's only making the news because people are a little bit surprised because the rates remained unchanged, and investors, I think that they were predicting investors would like that or something. I don't know, man. Shit's really weird right now. I wouldn't count on things being just fine with the stock market forever. Again, I think if you're a big time investor, you should be really careful right now. I do foresee. I'm very interested in the stock market. I'm just not super educated on it, but I'm really, really interested in economics. And have been for some time. And, you know, I follow some people that I think are pretty intelligent, and most of them are saying they foresee like a fairly large crash coming here in the next year. We'll see what happens. You know, it just makes logical sense to me, honestly, that would happen based on everything, based on literally everything around us. It's logical to think that probably, yes, a crash seems imminent to me. More good karmic news. The Trump derangement senator, remember Trump derangement syndrome guy who was trying to pass a bill saying that people who don't like Trump are mentally ill. He has resigned. I guess he wasn't forced to resign. He chose to resign instead of waiting for the Senate to actually impeach him because he was charged for soliciting a minor for sex. His name is Justin Eichhorn, just in case you forgot. If you want to go look him up. His career is over, and I hope his wife leaves him as well. Time will tell. I don't know if we're going to get that tea, but maybe I'll go digging for it. The United States, unsurprisingly, has fallen to its lowest position ever in the ranking of happiest countries. So every year, some sort of like data, people go out and collect the data. I don't know what they're basing it on. I think it's a ton of different factors. Finland is number one again. I guess it has been for, I think, several years in a row. And our peak as the United States was in 2012. We made it all the way up to number 11. We are now at number 24. I feel like it could be worse than 24. But also, I think we are in our depression era. Maybe financially soon, but for sure mentally. We're in some type of era, that's for sure. It's an era. So I don't know how many of you know this, because I think most people who know this are following them on some of their various social media pages. But Ben & Jerry's, the ice cream company, are really huge, like social equality advocates. Like they're heavy for the LGBTQ community. They're heavy for like two-state solution for Palestinians and like stop the bombing. They're heavy for just in general, like women's rights. equal rights, human rights, the planet, yada, yada, on it goes. They've been really, really, really outspoken against Trump. And they've been like creating ice cream flavors and stuff to advocate for various causes. Well, their CEO was essentially, I think, fired by their board. And now they're filing a complaint because Ben & Jerry's is basically saying that this is in violation of their 2000 merger agreement with Unilever as their parent company. And in that agreement, they had a bunch of red lines written in saying, like, we get to continue with our branding, with our social advocacy, because that's who this company is. That's essential to the integrity and the brand of this company. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just putting out there that, again, like, there's a lot of retaliation happening in Trump's presidency. His presidency is sort of built around retaliation against people who have bothered him, hurt him, sued him, talked badly about him, etc. And I think a lot of these companies, like a lot of corporate companies that maybe only care about money, which is probably most of them, I would say well above 90%, are going to do things right now that are going to look like they're racist and shitty and horrible and awful, because it really, if you are complying with racism and Nazi ideologies and abuse and subjugation and discrimination and all these things, if you're complying with these things and you're participating, then it doesn't matter what you believe, right? It doesn't matter. Your actions are way more important than what you claim to believe. And I think that Target had to learn that the hard way when they realized, like, if they roll over and comply with Trump's policies, they're going to lose the majority of the people who ever shopped at their stores, which is ironically also what's happening to Tesla, right? Like, the people who actually supported his company and supported his mission of electric cars, they're not Republicans. Maybe now they will be. I would honestly think it was so funny if the Cybertruck became like a Republican symbol. I think that's a great idea. In any case, go buy some Ben & Jerry's, support them. And, I think it takes guts to be a huge brand that is outspoken and maintains that form of integrity. It's not easy to do. In fact, one of the biggest reasons, and I cannot mention who, but something I love about the company that I work for is they're very, very, very out loud about being advocates for these same social causes. So I will put up with some large amounts of shit just for that. You know what I mean? Like, I would bend over backwards to stay at a company that has those types of policies in place, and that whose C-level people are outspoken about that. Like, that means that's worth a lot of money to me, because it's hard to find in corporate America. It's just hard to find. And I also think it has a huge effect on the culture and on my own personal, like, I am not scared of them finding out about my social media channels. In fact, I bet you anything that my CEO would like it, genuinely. And that is also really meaningful to me. Like, I don't really want to seek out employment somewhere else, because a lot of the CEOs would probably want my head put on a platter. Do you know what I mean? Like, so anyways, I just have a lot of respect for Ben & Jerry's. I think they're incredible, and I hope they win this fight. But again, we are in a time where we're probably not going to see a lot of wins on the side of justice unless they're coming from like the ethers. You know what I mean? Like, whatever's happening to Elon Musk right now, I don't know exactly who's responsible, like collective energy. It's crazy. He's having his very bad, no good, worst day ever. And I love it. So yeah, we only have a couple more stories to cover here, but I just tossed. I'm not going to like get into the deep dark elements of the science behind this. I just thought this headline was really funny. Dark energy is weakening in the universe, and the universe could eventually collapse. I thought some of you, I actually did read most of this article, and I spent some time just kind of like contemplating on it. And there was a line in the article that said something like about how the universe is going to end with a loud crunch. I just fucking love that. It's very like Acme cartoon to me in my mind, and it felt very like, I like the flippant nature of that concept. It feels funny. And I love funny. I love the funny idea of the universe imploding like it's just like a soup can. That's great. But really, just to give you a little background on what this means, dark energy is kind of a new phenomenon that they really don't know that much about. They don't understand its relationship to time. But what they are noticing is that the strength, I don't know, like it seemed to be implied that when they say strength, they mean something about gravity and energy. In any case, the strength of the dark energy has drastically changed over time, that it's weakening. And if we were picturing it almost like glue that's been stretching the universe out and forcing it to expand, as it weakens, the universe is shrinking, and I guess eventually I don't think we really know, to be honest with you. I feel like even though 900 scientists collaborated on this report together, and I'm sure that there's a lot of truth in it, I feel like pretty regularly we're finding out about new concepts, new principles that are changing the way we look at this stuff. So anyway, it's interesting though. I love stuff like that. And there's just something about the various laws of like space and physics that is for some reason very, very soothing to me. And I can't even tell you why, because it sounds kind of violent, doesn't it? Like the universe just ends in a crunch. I don't know. Why do I like that? I just do. Okay, this is our last story, and it's another Schadenfreude story about Elon Musk. And I think this can be considered good news for sure, because it's hilarious. Why is the White House like literally just like a car sales lot now, by the way? So there's a man named Howard Lutnick. He is Trump's Commerce Secretary. And he went on TV today and urged everyone watching, I don't even know, I didn't even look up what fucking station, I don't care, it doesn't matter. He told everyone that they should hurry and buy Tesla stock. Like, how stupid do you think we are? This isn't the 1960s, babe. Like, that's a very old, like, your sales techniques need some updating. You know what I mean? Anyways, he told everyone that they needed to hurry and buy Tesla stock because it's never going to be this inexpensive again. Okay, that's literally the oldest trick in the book. And what's even funnier about it is that right after it aired, Tesla stocks took a big shit again. That makes me so happy. God, I love that. I just love it. I'm just going to sit here and bask in it for a second. Yeah, I mean, it's so embarrassing. They're so embarrassing. It would make a great movie. It's a great episode of Saturday Night Live. I would watch the fuck out of this TV show. In fact, it really reminds me a lot of Arrested Development. Did you guys watch that show? It's really funny. You should. There is actually some like weird parallels. And they made some like weird mentions. I think they mentioned Trump in that show a few times. You know, like those people are equally sociopathic in this way that is like very cartoonish. Like it's so sociopathic that it becomes very funny. Like there's no way you could possibly be that psychotic, right? But they are. I mean, again, I'm impressed. It's not the right word. Something. I am not shocked. I don't know. Help me if you can think of the word. Please put it in the comments. I think that's all I wanted to tell you guys tonight. Yeah. I think tomorrow, maybe I'll have some good news, I hope. I hope that they won't leave me hanging over the weekend, but we'll find out. And maybe I'll have gotten some more sleep tonight. I don't know. I mean, I'm sleeping just fine. I sleep really well. I was just telling my therapist that, like, my anxiety is not very bad. And I think it has a lot to do with, like, just knowing I can't control any of this shit. I really can't. I can show up here and do this with you guys, and I can take care of my corner of the world, and I can help in any way that I am able to whenever I get the opportunity. I can continue to speak out. I can support the people around me. And other than that, like, we're just all along for the ride, man. You know what I mean? I know that's like very much easier said than done, but for some reason, my nervous system just said, yeah, this just reminds me of my house in the 80s. This whole country does. So I have a lot of practice. Anyways, I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.